Hi. I've been looking at the Bearing book. I'm in chapter 6 at the subheading, Lord Jesus, Receive My Spirit. This is Acts chapter 7, towards the end when Stephen is stoned to death. Why does Stephen request that the Lord Jesus receive his spirit? The Watchtower offers this explanation under that subheading in their publication. So I'm going to read the whole paragraph 22. Stephen died in much the same way as his master had died, with a heart at peace, full of trust in Jehovah and forgiveness for his killers. He said, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit. Perhaps because he could still see in vision the Son of Man with his Father. No doubt Stephen knew Jesus' encouraging words, I am the resurrection and the life, John 11:25. Finally, Stephen prayed directly to God in a loud voice, Jehovah, do not charge this sin against them. After saying this, he fell asleep in death. Okay, so I think it's worded in such a way that you almost would think that Stephen made a mistake in praying, directing his prayer to Jesus at first. With this word, perhaps. Perhaps it's because he just saw him in a vision. And then finally being said when they think he's directly praying to God. Did Stephen start with a prayer to Jesus and then switch to Jehovah? Was praying to Jesus inappropriate? We have to look at the text and see that they have manipulated in the sense that the word Jehovah, the name, the tetragrammaton, is not in the text. They have put it in there so that there's a switch from Jesus to Jehovah. And the first one, because he says Lord Jesus, they can't put Jehovah Jesus in there. But one should also note in this paragraph that the Watchtower is rather careless or casual in the way they use words to begin with. They have, perhaps because he could still see in vision the Son of Man with his Father. If you read the text, though, it doesn't read that way. The text says, in the New World Translation and the Kingdom Interlinear, gazed into heaven and caught sight of God's glory and of Jesus standing at God's right hand. And he said, Look, I behold the heavens opened up, and the Son of Man standing at God's right hand. So they have put Father where it says God, and then they've put Jehovah where it says Lord. They seem to just exchange words as they believe, as they're not being faithful to what the text actually says. Okay, this paragraph also points out that Stephen is full of forgiveness for his killers. So that makes you ask the question, are Jehovah's Witnesses forgiving of people who disagree with them? How about people who misunderstand them? Do Jehovah's Witnesses pray for their forgiveness? Does the Watchtower's teaching even make it possible for you to think they could be forgiven? It's not our belief that they could be forgiving unless they become one of us. But he just asked for them not to have this sin charged against them. Among those that were approving of Stephen's death, we're told in the account, was Saul, who later became known as the Apostle Paul. At the time of Stephen's stoning, he was a sincere Pharisee, but he was on the wrong side. He disagreed with Stephen, he misunderstood Stephen, and he persecuted Stephen and the church. Is it possible for us as Jehovah's Witnesses to even think that we could be on the wrong side? One more note that I wanted to make is they end with, after saying this, he fell asleep in death, which is what the text tells us, that he fell asleep, right? It says, I'll read it from here, where it says, Lord, do not charge them with this sin. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. So sleep is often used as an expression of death, the meaning being death. It was used by Jesus as well. Think of when Lazarus dies, he tells his followers, his eventual apostles, that Lazarus is sleeping. Does sleep connote non-existence, or more a state of a dormant state of existence? Why not say, as the Watchtower believes, he's passed into non-existence? Doesn't read that way. Those are just questions you have to ask. I'm going to link to the video I did from my light bulb series that was based on Saul being on the wrong side, basically. So the title of it was, I Found Out God's Organization Can Be Fatally Wrong. Saul of Tarsus found out he was the blind one. And the second video is, do Jehovah's Witnesses love, forgive, and pray for their enemies? Are Jehovah's Witnesses obeying jw.org or Jesus? And that was, we were going through the book of Matthew, along with J.C. Ryle's commentary on Matthew. Thank you for watching.